Hey everyone, and welcome to the Framework. On this part of the series, we're going to be talking about movement and balance. Coach Mike here with myself, Coach Alejandro at Black 21 Striking and Fitness in Denver, Colorado. Let's get into it. First part of it, we're going to be talking about how you should be light on your feet. So, Coach Mike, how would you start us off?
So being light on your feet just simply means is being in balance, of course, and you want to have your weight distribution pretty even. There are going to be times when you're going to have a little bit more weight on your back leg, or sometimes if you're just doing strictly boxing, you might be a little bit more forward and have more weight on your front leg. But generally speaking, you want to try and just go 50-50, right? So you just want to be light on your feet here, good stance. Being able to go right here, okay? And of course, you want to be able to move forward and back. That's probably the first thing you want to be able to do. So I'm just going here, just going forward, and I'm just going back, okay? So again, I'm going forward and back. And a quick note, you want to make sure you don't step too wide when you're going forward and back, of course. So you don't want to come here and then get a little bit too close, and vice versa when you're going back. Now, when you're going to the left, you want to go left foot first. So here I am in my stance. I want to go to the left. Then my right foot's going to follow. I'm going to go to the right. I'm going to lead with my right foot. Yeah, so we'll give you a quick front view. So front view, we'll do it same time. So we're going forward. We're going to go back. Okay, one more time, forward and back. Okay, now let's go to the left. Left, one, to the right, back. Left, and then to the right. And we'll give you a back view here. So we're facing this way, so you can follow along same time as us. So we're going to go forward and back. One more time, forward and back. Now let's go to the left, to the right. One more time, left and to the right.
Good. So we just went over, Coach Mike just went over your lateral, your forward, your backward, your left to right. One of those things that come with balance and movement is making sure that you're not too far on the back side, not too far on the front side, but when you're trying to balance, even if your heels are up, you're comfortable about your movement. There shouldn't be some point to where it's too much on one, but no matter how you're standing, whatever, kickboxer more, a boxer, you're really looking to make sure you're balanced. Almost like you're standing on a 2x4, you're surfing, something on some water. I have to balance a bit. I can't be so rigid. I can't be too loose. And no matter what stance we're working, that distribution has to kind of be allowing me to move well. Which brings us to our next point about moving. Pivots and angles. When we're working these kinds of things, let's start off with talking about a pivot. What is a pivot?
So a pivot is here. First I'll demonstrate it and then we'll break it down, okay? So assuming you're right-handed, we got your left leg forward, right leg back. So I'm going to do and there's multiple ways you can do this, of course. This is the way I was taught, is take a small step with your lead foot, and you're going to swivel on the ball of your foot, and you're going to turn, and you'll be facing the wall right here, okay? And then you're just going to step, and it's come right back, okay? So one thing you want to keep in mind, or remember, is when I step, we call it a lazy foot. We want to make sure we don't turn this way with the foot still turned, okay? We want to make sure we swivel on the ball of the foot. So I'm here, I step, and I swivel. Okay, so how this might come into play, let's say you got somebody that's really aggressive, they're going to push them forward on you. So they come forward, I step, and I angle off, and then there's my counter punch, which will, of course, in future videos here in our series, we're going to address counter punching.
Let's show that again just from a different angle. So if we go in like from a back angle to a front angle, I'm going straight at him. He pivots out of the way. It's the bull and the matador. Okay, one more time. We'll go from this angle. I'm the bull, he's the matador. He shouldn't stay directly in front of me. Why would he? Instead, he pivoted out. He got out of the way. He can now throw at an advantage point from there. Angling. When we talk about angling is basically any movement which is different from your beginning posture. Your beginning posture could have been here, here, here. Once I start to angle something, it's just changing a lot of directions on the board, whether that's the compass or the clock, a lot of turning, bowing, leaning, swaying or bobbing and weaving. Even in kickboxing, you see a lot of that where Coach Mike, he throws a nice high kick. So if we went to go high kick me, they do a good lean back on that. That's changing an angle. You know, one more time. Another way to change the angle, let's say he just throws his jab. That's an angle change. I'm changing the angle. So that's, again, stuff we can look at in some of our other series that we have out. But for the most part, angle changing is just moving anything that's a little bit different than where you started at. On the next part, with angle changing, we'll go back to Coach Mike, is a defensive footwork. How do you start off, or how do you identify what kind of footwork you should use defensively?
Right, so there's times when you might want to be aggressive coming forward to try to get your opponent off balance or make him a little bit skittish. There's also times when you can back up. You know, some boxing coaches say, hey, you know, especially like Thai boxing, hey, we're not going to back up, we're going to come forward and be aggressive. However, there are times when you can back up. For example, my opponent here is being aggressive, he's coming forward, I'm just backing up, and I might time him on my third back up with the cross. Or maybe we're here, he's coming in, I back up, maybe I cut an angle, boom, and call it with the kick right here. So there are times when you will back up, and there's times you might want to be aggressive come forward. So maybe my opponent is a little bit lighter on his feet, and he's a little bit evasive, so maybe I want to push in, I want to come forward on him and get him to move. So I'm here, I'm being aggressive, I'm coming forward, and coming here. So I want to keep him on his feet, and I want to maybe pressure, be a little bit more of a pressure fighter, maybe get him tired. So there are times when you're going to push forward and be aggressive. There might be times when you might be a little bit elusive and defensive, and you're going to counterpunch them.
And speaking right off his last comment there, countering. Aggression, basic terms, I'm going forward, I'm pressuring the fight. Countering, I'm kind of waiting for them to do something so I can counter them. I can throw on the way, and I can throw something that offsets their timing. Tons and tons of different ways to attack, to defend. The few things that we should talk about when we wrap up today's part of the framework is movement and balance. You should be moving. Whether it's the traditional Thai, what does that look like?
This traditional Thai, it's a little bit more, you're coming forward, and you're kind of in a rhythm. So I'm being here, again, like I talked about earlier, is we're not backing up too much. In the traditional Thai style, we're encouraged to come forward and be aggressive and kind of dominate and take center of the ring, so you're more here.
Perfect. If I'm more of the counter fighter in whatever sport, whether it's boxing, kickboxing, he's the aggressive guy, I might be out here waiting to throw something to catch him while he's coming in. Forward, side to side, we should be moving somewhere. Standing still isn't wrong, but maybe heavier weight classes do that. When we're lighter, you would like to have enough cardio to move a lot. Angles and pivoting, making sure your movement isn't only robotic, but you can change the angles of the way you move around. Defensive footwork, right? When you are moving back or you're setting something up, okay? And overall, what is your take on movement and balance?
My overall take is it's kind of like the foundation where we already have a video on stance where your movement in your footwork position, you want to be here. So this is kind of the basic you want to be in. So it's a quick recap. So we got forward, right? And we're going back. You have your left, going to the right. We have our pivots here, and then coming back. So once you have that foundation, then you can start getting into a little bit more advanced things, which is going to come up in future segments of our series where maybe we might want to angle off here. Maybe my opponent throws a jab. Maybe I come here, and I come off this way. Boom. Maybe he throws a cross. I parry. I hit a quick jab. Boom, there's my kick, okay? But the biggest thing is to make sure you have that foundation, got your stance, and being able to move forward and back, left and right. And one quick point, one thing we want to address before we go here is crossing the feet.
Perfect. So overall, in any part of our series or videos that we make, there's tons of different ways to call something. A jab, you know, in England is something different, and in Mexico they call it something else, in China something else. We're basically focused on the movement of things. When we talk about crossing feet, as an amateur, when I started, they never said, you never cross your feet, you don't never cross your feet. You start watching fights and all of a sudden they got these movements like this and you're wondering why you don't cross your feet, but they cross your feet. What I think the best way to describe most anything that you could do in fighting is find the ways that it would work, find the ways that it won't work, and start to develop a game plan based off of that. If I'm in front of my opponent and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to have a good day there. I don't know, maybe. I'm not going to say never because the world's a strange place, right? I could be like, bip, and somehow it lands at the right time he came forward. But for the most part, you would like to make sure when your feet are crossing up, it's because maybe you were setting something up, whatever your martial art is. Boxing, I might be, and kickboxing, I might be, you know. But for the most part, crossing up your feet, you have to do it in a smart way, not just any old random way.
Yeah, great point. Thank you. All right, guys. So that is a wrap for this series. So be on the lookout for our next videos coming up. Thank you so much for watching.